Hey y'all, welcome back to the Growing and Flowing Pod. My name is Brandy. Feel free to call me Bran. You know, if you're new here, just up here talking about some life experiences. Take what resonates, don't be too hard on yourself, and make sure you laugh because life is funny. But anyway, so what are we talking about today? So, we're going to talk about anger today. We're going to talk about anger. So, y'all, one thing to know about me, I am a very impatient person. And I already knew I wasn't patient, but I really got a grasp of how impatient I was last time I was home a few weeks ago. It just really stood out to me when my mom did something. I was waiting for her to get ready, and she wasn't ready at the time that she said she was going to be ready. So then when she was ready, she was like, all right, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. But I'm like, sis, I'm eating something right now. Like, why do you think that's okay for us to go on your time when I was ready when you wanted to be ready? But now that you're ready and I took some time off because you were taking all day. So that it peaked in my mind. So you know how sometimes we think about the traits that we get from our parents, or, those moments where we realize that, like, dang, I really hate when you do this. And sometimes I be doing the same shit. It's kind of like eye-opening. So for me, when I am able to grasp those different moments, I'm like, okay, I do a mental check. I'm like, I don't want to do that. And sometimes we say that and we don't actively work on it, right? So for me, back in undergrad, I had to do an anger check on myself. So I used to do this thing, y'all. Was way too grown to be doing that. Where I used to throw my little temper tantrums, mainly with my friends. So we would be like maybe in the mall or like just doing something. In college, you're just trying to be everywhere. And if one of them say some shit that pissed me off, well, used to. This is past tense, y'all. I don't do this anymore. Or something that just get on my nerves. Like, I would literally storm off, be mad for like maybe 10 to 20 minutes, and then come back like shit regular. So when I used to do that, it's like, Brandy, what's up? I don't know. What was the last time that I did that where I was like, all right, so we got to change this. So you realize, when you have those moments, you realize how the way you act affect other people or how other people look at you. And granted, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. But my friends, like, we're friends, we hang out, of course I care. And then it's like, okay, well, I don't want this to be a thing for us not to be friends again. Like, where you can see how something can be a problem. So I'm like, all right, Brandon, you gotta cut that shit out. You gotta stop doing that. You got to, or you're gonna end up friendless. Or you're not gonna be able to take it when somebody tells you about yourself. Or, I just thought about the different scenarios. So I'm like, all right, can't do that again. So I was actively working on that, which of course I've gotten better at. Actually, not better. I don't do that anymore at all. But then I started to notice different ways that anger has played a role in different situations in my life. So recently I found out in May, I was intoxicated. Y'all don't make calls while you're drunk. Just don't. Because the reason why I reached out to the person, like, it wasn't supposed to be for an argument or anything like that. But what was said triggered something in me. Something triggered me. And something had happened between my mom and I. And I realized, and this is after the conversation that I realized this, that when I have some shit that's pent up, that I have talked to no one about, it comes out in the worst kind of way. And that was the deal breaker for me. Because I know I said some hurtful shit to somebody that I care about. And I really just did not like that. That was the kicker, like, okay, Brandon, you can't do that again. So it was about me taking accountability in that situation. because it's been other times. So after that happened, y'all, I was doing some shadow work for like 2 weeks. Literally the first 3 days I was just in bed, like after that happened, thinking about, wow, where did this stem from? What was it? Literally digging deep, trying to figure out, right, like, what is it? What is it? So I've thought about other moments. It's been a few other times where I've gotten in semi kind of could have been physical occasions with my friends. Drunk occasions, actually. That's why, for one, I had to stop mixing, y'all. That mixing really brought out the devil in me. And didn't know how to handle my liquor. That's not cute. And you know, when you got to be the one where everybody takes care of you, I do not like that shit at all. But anyways, it just came out into these moments where I would just be super aggressive. Like, it would just be some triggering words or triggering actions. If y'all hear that, it's thundering. Or triggering actions that literally just led me to act the way I acted. And it literally had nothing to do with them. It's me interpreting words a certain way, getting what I want out of those words instead of actively listening and, you know, figuring out after those issues happen. And what I've learned too with my anger is, like, sometimes, like, I can legit just spiral. Like that last incident, I don't know where my mind was. My mind was on being right. Being right. Newsflash, people, we are not always right. We are not. And when it comes to situations like that anyway, any situation, it's not really about who was right and who was wrong all the time. And that's what I'm starting to realize. That doesn't matter. I just feel like all parties, you know, have to take accountability for the role that they played in that situation. Again. And I'm learning that. I'm still a work in progress with that. But with that last situation, like, I learned. Because guess what? I know I've needed therapy for a while. I've known that. Had somebody close to me suggest that to me for like over a year now. But I'm finally in a place where I'm like, all right, I'm ready to be read. I'm ready to lay it all on the table. I'm ready to work on the areas of my life that I don't want to hinder me. I don't want to be like 45 or some shit and I still have these same issues. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm a very mature individual, but I'm too mature to be immature in certain areas of my life. I want better for myself, you know, and I know I'm better than some of the things that I have done in the past. So becoming aware of those, y'all, it's never easy. It's really never easy. And I've learned, because I hate emotions, you got to let yourself feel stuff. You have to. Because if you don't, you still going to have them embarrassing moments in your life with literally nobody to blame but yourself because you knew it was there, but you decided not to work on it. You know? So when it comes to me being impatient, I've been trying to take baby steps, for one, because me being impatient literally leads to me getting frustrated very fast. And me getting frustrated very fast leads to me being angry about some shit that I don't even need to be angry about. But think about it, though. All of this is learned behavior. Learned behavior that you have been doing all your life is very hard to undo. That's why I say I'm patient with myself. Make sure you're patient with yourself as you're actively working through your shit. Because for me, when I was younger, I guess I feel like the reason why I really don't like emotions and why it's easy for me to get worked up, because my mother never really showed me how to deal with my emotions. And what she displayed to me was somebody that's angry, that gets mad, like, you know, aggressive. She's definitely the aggressive type, you know. And that's where I learned that from. And I never really honestly felt comfortable expressing things to my mother until recently, a few years ago. I just felt like I never had that environment where I can just be open about X, Y, and Z because she can be judgmental. I used to be a very judgmental person. Working on that still, but way less judgmental than what I used to be. Honestly, truly, not lying to y'all. So those issues, those learned behaviors are literally the hardest ones to work through. But if you actively start working on it and you start to see changes, it's going to be 100% worth it. Nothing easy is worth having. And I'm going to say that one more time. Nothing easy is worth having. A lot of times why people struggle with things in life in general is because they don't want to do the hard work. Baby, add a little pressure. Add a little pressure and see how you feel. You know what I'm saying? You gotta tell yourself you can do that because you can. You definitely can. Just work on it. So I've been reading through different things and I came across this little example. And y'all, honestly, that day that I read it, I really needed it. And it was something super simple, but it legit made my day. It legit made my day because I literally needed to hear it. So basically it was saying that somebody spilled coffee early in the morning. They were at work, they spilled coffee on themselves. And they let that anger them the whole day. And what the article was saying is like, okay, so that spilled coffee happened. It happened. It's a thing of the past. You can't do anything about it because it happened. So what is you, not what is you. Is that the right wording? What is it about being mad about that or angry about that? What is it? What is that? Sorry, y'all. What is that going to do for you? Really, realistically, because it happened. You already done went and got a change of clothes and everything. You already done fixed the problem. So why are you going through the rest of the day mad about that one thing that you can't change? Because it happened. Baby, I got red. So now I really try to do an energy check because honestly, I've been getting into the law of attraction and all that. A lot of good stuff. And you really attract what you put out. Why not? Why put out negative vibes for what? It's not going to change your day. It might make your day worse because you're anticipating more shit happening. Because regardless, shit is going to happen. But you know what I'm saying? It's literally all about how we maneuver through it. And I've said that already. Pay attention to the things that I've already said. Because we have to pay attention to the things that are constant in our life as well. You're going to keep getting taught what I've learned, taught the same lesson over and over and over again until you realize that it's a problem that you need to work on. Period. And that's what I learned back in May. It just came out in the worst way. And I was really just like, sis, this cannot, I literally told myself, cannot happen again. And one thing that really works for me, and I'm pretty sure it's the only child thing, I literally speak out loud to myself a lot. And I don't answer myself. And if I did, that's my business. I don't answer myself. But for me, I get a lot of shit off my chest when I just say it out loud to myself. Like sometimes things that I've been thinking, I'm not really a writer to write my thoughts down. Sometimes I do. But it's not a constant coping mechanism for me. What really works best for me is when I say things out loud because sometimes it's very hard for me to articulate things to other people. So it really helps me when I say it out loud to myself, especially if I'm ready to tell somebody about some shit that happened or whatever, or I'm trying to figure out what the next step is after something happened. That really helps me. So find a way to express yourself when it comes to holding yourself accountable. Because what I learned, yes, that accountability is going to be the number one thing that gets you through life. And you also have to be intentional. I've learned that also. I'm still working on that as well. Because I don't want y'all to think I be up here just saying, like, oh, I know it all. This is how life is going. This is how you should do it. This worked for me. These are things that have worked for me that are still working for me. Because the self-work, y'all, it's never done. It's never done. It's never done. That's why I always mention childhood, looking back to, who you were then, who you are now, some of the traits you still have. What are good traits? What are bad traits? Because the bad traits, they're going to keep going with you because those are learned behaviors. They're going to, no matter how much you grow in other areas, if you don't work on those important spots that it is a problem right there that you need to work on. The more you ignore it, the worse that shit is going to get, and it's going to come out in the worst way. In the worst way where you're like, maybe it's some shit you say you can't take back, or something you do you can't take back, or something you got to work very hard to repair. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a difference between being aware of a problem and still letting it happen versus being aware of a problem and checking yourself every time you feel yourself about to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not really the best with my words sometimes. So y'all take that accountability. And yeah, again, it's not easy. But don't be one of those people that makes excuses for themselves. That it's an excuse after excuse. My thing used to be, my intention was not. My intention was not to do this. My intention was not to do that. But when you say it so frequently, well, it's like, damn, sis, you sure that wasn't your intention? So pay attention to around, like, perception. The people that you keep around you, what do they think of you? You know what I'm saying? Because the people that we hold in our corner, that we're closest to, that we talk to on a regular basis, they're supposed to know you the most. They're supposed, you know what I'm saying? I was saying something after that, and I cut myself off because I didn't know what I was saying as I was saying it. I really be in here weak at myself. But yes, perception. What do your friends say about you when they talk about you? Like, when they're bringing you up to other people, like, what are the good things that they say? Are they contemplating still being friends with you? Is there a rough patch in your friendship that you aren't paying attention to because of something you've been doing? So yes, that's just a few questions, y'all. Just a few questions. Reflect on learned behavior. Mine is anger. And I've also found that anger fuels me in a lot of aspects of my life. Or when I'm any type of emotion, if I'm sad, however anxious, however I'm feeling, I feel like the best way for me is to redirect my energy into something that brings me joy. Hence this. Because I was kind of on a sad tip, and I still have my days when I started this, to be honest. But I don't know. I felt like that was my best time to redirect my energy, so I wouldn't let it consume me. Don't let your emotions consume you. Hold yourself accountable. Take the time that you need, but don't drown in it. Because sometimes when you drown in it, it's very easy to get lost in it. So, thank you for coming to my Red Table Talk. But no, for real, I appreciate everybody that is returning. The people that have reviewed already my one comment that I have. I appreciate you. If you're listening, you're the best. Yeah, y'all. Every Wednesday, don't forget. Every Wednesday up in this thing. Don't forget to follow the Instagram page, the official page. Again, that is underneath the bio. Just trying to grow that. No pressure. Everybody doesn't get on Instagram. It would be nice, though, if you gave me a follow. And, yeah, still working on the intro. I'm trying to figure out how I want that to be. But, anywho, I'm going to stop talking y'all to death. I will talk to y'all next time. Bye.